I was asked to include Zac Efron. So, why did Zac Efron cross the playground? To get to the other slide. Algebra 1, Lesson 5-4, point slope form. Learning targets. I will be able to write and graph linear equations using point slope form. Warm up. The red line shows the altitude of a hot air balloon during its linear descent. What is an equation of the line in slope-intercept form? And we remember slope-intercept form, of course, being y equals mx plus b. So if we only knew what the slope was and the y-intercept, we'd be all set. So if we pick 2 points and substitute them into the slope-intercept form, in fact, find the slope, we'll have this. So as always, we select who we want to be the 1s and who we want to be the 2s, and then we'll plug them into the formula, which gives us, and that reduces to -2/1. Remember, we always want to leave the slope as a fraction because it helps tell us how to graph the line. Next, we need the y-intercept. We'll also note that this section is about point slope form, and point slope form would make this problem somewhat easier at this stage. However, we will plug x, since we have 5, 640, x equals 5 when y equals 640. So substitute or plug that into the slope-intercept form of the equation, y equals mx plus b. So subbing 640 in for y, -2 for m, and 5 for x, we get the equation given here. And then simplifying, we get 640 equals -10 plus b. Add 10 to both sides, and we get 650 equals b. So now, our final equation, we're asked to write the equation in slope-intercept form. I have y equals the slope -2/1 x plus b, which is 650. So as I said in the warm-up, there are cases where it's actually easier to use point slope form, but in order to use it, we need to know what it is. So point slope, key concept, point slope form of a linear equation. Point slope form is given this way. The line passing through x sub 1, y sub 1 with slope m is y minus y1 equal to m times x minus x sub 1. Symbols. A key thing. Letters with subscripts mean constants that we're going to plug in. Like x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. Those are constants that we will substitute into some formula like for slope or slope-intercept or point slope. So in the equation, y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus, let me correct that. All right, try it again. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. The two variables in black, y and x, are actually variables. The subscripts and m are all constants. Y sub 1 is called the y-coordinate. X sub 1 is called the x-coordinate. And, of course, m is called the slope of the line. So x sub 1 y sub 1 is a specific point with x sub 1 and y sub 1 constants, and x comma y is any point with no subscripts, with x and y being variables. As far as here's why it works, I'm going to derive this formula, but I'll do this in class. Example 1. Writing an equation in point-slope form. A line passes through the point 4, minus 2 and has slope m equal to negative 3. What is the equation of the line? Well, as always, I always like to rewrite the formula we're going to use. So point-slope form is y minus y sub 1 equal to m times x minus x sub 1. I know that the constants, see how we're given constants, those are the subscripts, x sub 1, y sub 1 are my constants, and of course I have slope m equal to negative 3. I'm just going to substitute or plug those values into the point slope formula. So I have y minus, since y sub 1 is negative, just as we did for slope, we must put a parentheses. We'll never put two consecutive math operations next to each other. Equal to the slope, which is negative 3, times x minus x sub 1, which is 4. Now, that's actually correct. We've written the equation in point-slope form, but generally, since we're in algebra, we'd like to simplify. And I know a negative times a negative is a positive, so I'm going to write this as y minus a minus 2 is y plus 2 equal to negative 3 times x minus 4. And that is the equation of a line that passes through 4 minus 2 and has slope of negative 3. Example 2, graphing using point-slope form. What is the graph of the equation y minus 2 equals 3 over 2 times x minus 1? Well, here we're going to break it down. Again, we're looking at point-slope form. So this is y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. This tells me that y sub 1 is positive 2, because it's a minus the positive. It's the opposite. X sub 1 equals positive 1. And m equals 3 over 2. So we take that information and write an xy, draw an xy plane. And so looking at the coordinate that this gives us, which is x sub 1 is 1, y sub 1 is 2, I know that's going to be 1 on the x-axis and 2 on the y-axis. So there's my point 1, 2. Next we look at slope, rise over run. So we're going to go up 3 and we're going to go right 2. So if I go up 3, and I go right 2, finding where those two lines, or those two coordinates meet, and connecting the dots, I get the following line. So it's also not too difficult to graph a line when you have the line in point-slope form. Example 3, using 2 points to write an equation. What is the equation at the line of the line at the right? Well, the key thing here is, again, just as we did with slope-intercept form, we need to label the x1s and the y1s. So let's let the first point be the 1s, and the second point be the 2's, because we have to find the slope first. So to write an equation in point-slope form, we know we have y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. Well, we need to know what the slope is. So the slope is going to be y2, which is 4, minus y1, which is negative 3, so a negative times a negative, over x sub 2, which is 1, minus x sub 1, which again is a minus 2. Minus times a minus is a positive, so I have 4 plus 3 in the numerator, and 1 plus 2 in the denominator, so that becomes 7 over 3 for my slope. Now I'm going to pick the easier of the 2 points, and so I believe that that is x is 1 and y is 4. So for my equation, I have y minus y sub 1, although it looks like y sub 2 in this case, which is 4, equal to the slope 7 over 3 times x minus x sub 1, which is minus 1. And I get the equation just like that.